Hey, welcome back to my channel. As usual, I'm here to review Love and Marriage Huntsville. I really enjoyed this episode. I really, it was a lot of good stuff. So let me get right into it. How you been doing? You doing all right? Okay, good to see you again. Welcome back. Come on back. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. I really, really do. So this episode kicks off with Marsau. He's meeting with a young black female architect. Oh, everything about it. And they are discussing plans for a new brunch spot he wants to build. As they're discussing that, Martel comes in and says that he wanted to check on Marsau following his accident. I don't know, I guess maybe Martel trying to make up with him for real. I don't know. Martel starts out reminiscing about this venue, this location, how it used to be this kind of a Sanford and Sonish kind of place. You know, basically it was a place that was integral in his childhood. You know, he remembered this place from when he was a kid. And, you know, you could see him kind of light up about it. So that was kind of cool. You know, they get to just, you know, doing their small talk. And Marsau brings up that Chris had mentioned the apartment building project on the 47 acres. So Martel advises him that, nah, bruh, that's on hold. Yeah, everything is on hold because of what me and Melody are going through. Marsau, you know, really starts to ask him, well, how are you? What's going on? Are you okay? He said how he thought this project was cursed from the beginning because the land was maybe not ill-gotten, but Martel didn't necessarily do it on the up and up. So when, you know, he asks him how he's doing and Martel tells him he's doing better than people would expect, Marsau tells him that he thinks the best thing that could happen to them, basically, is for them to hit rock bottom. I guess he wants the reality of the situation to kick in, is what I think he means by that hitting rock bottom. That's what I think, because otherwise it is like, why you want to, like, damn, ain't I going through it? That's how Martel, like, damn, I'm going through enough. But Martel says he knows he's going to hit rock bottom and he's ready for it. Okay. Next, we go to Mel and Mama Holt. Mama Holt comes over to Mel's house to talk. Mel says she called her to see if she could come over, just, you know, see how she's doing. Mama Holt comes in. Mel is cooking. And, you know, they laugh back and forth about how Mel loves her cooking and she loves her roasting. So she's trying to cook one herself. They get to talking about how Mel is doing. And, you know, she goes into how you don't know how much you're destroying when you make these bad decisions and how many people you're affecting. And, you know, Mama Holt is like, yeah, you're right about that. And then she goes into how Martel is running around town telling everyone, I've cheated. And Mama Holt said, well, did you cheat? Girl. Girl. See, this is why you can't play with grown people. Grown people gonna ask you about your business to your face. Well, did you? I know my son out here wild. You know, I know he wild, but did you cheat? Mel goes into how she did something, but it wasn't quite cheating. Basically, anything she's chosen to do is canceled out by what he's done. Kind of. One, she says there was a relationship with a guy that only lasted about 3 weeks, but it was non-sexual. And they were separated. And then she said they separated around April 4th. In her mind, she could do what she wanted to do because she has no intention of being with him. Now, there's a side of me that's like, okay, I get what she's saying. You know, just from knowing how relationships can be, you know, and knowing what it can take to sometimes get out of them. On the other hand, as a single person who is dating, if I meet a man and me and this man get to, you know, talking and I ask him, are you married? Well, I'm married, but I'm getting a divorce. I'm separated. Yeah, only until such and such a date because we going to court on this date and it'll be, in my mind, that man is married. Now, that's just my approach, and I'm going to tell you why. In my mind, that man is married until he is divorced. Because just like they separated before and came back together, until the paperwork is signed, though I could be dating this man, he could get down to the courthouse and decide in that moment he wants his family. And he's within his right. So from my perspective, just based on my experience and how I view life and marriage and things of that nature, you married until you divorced. That's just my take on that. Mama Holt, you know, just kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, you know, that's your explanation? All right. So then Mel basically goes into what Martel did. Like, no, this is cheating. What I did is not cheating. There's a difference. And so Mama Holt said, yeah, he definitely cheated. That he did. That he did. Then Mel brings up the full custody comments. Mama Holt like, what? Just like I said, Martel ain't trying to have full custody. He ain't looking for full custody. So Mama Holt is like, I don't know what you talking about. He want what? Mel's like, yeah, I guess he wants y'all to keep him all the time. Mama Holt said, look here, I ain't keeping no kids. I ain't keeping no kids, I ain't keeping no kids, and I ain't keeping no kids. Them y'all kids. Okay? I love them and all that. But I'll see them when I see them. I'm not going to keep them. Signed, a loving grandmother. Then Mel kind of throws the jab out there that, well, hopefully with the new baby coming, Martel won't push these ones to the side. And Mama Hope, you know, made it very clear. One thing Martel is going to do is take care of his children. I don't have to tell him to do that. You don't have to tell him to do that. He is going to take care of his children. Don't get me wrong. I've seen stranger things happen. He's do dirty, like he does dirt, but I just think he'll take care of his kids. Moving on. Next, we go to see Tisha and Marsau at their office. And they're, you know, dressed up for a date night. Tisha comes in draped in a leopard fur and with her fitted black dress and her high black heels, and she grabs him by the tie, and they look kind of awkward and uncomfortable. Doesn't look like she's comfortable doing stuff like that. But anyways, you know, she grabbed her husband by the tie, she takes him outside, and they have a private date in a bubble set up. I thought it was super cute. I loved it. I thought it was everything. I would love to do it if I had a date. They get in, they sit down. Marsau drapes his sports coat over her shoulders, and they sit down to take their dinner. And they get to talking. Marsau starts talking about how he wants Tisha to be a wife. They start talking about her role in the household, her role in the family, her role in his life and his business. And Marsau, you know, is making this declaration about how he can make the money and he can run the business, but he can do that so much better when she is, I guess, solely operating in her position as his wife. And his words were, I don't need you to step up in business. I need you to step back into motherhood. I got 3 generations of advice for Tisha. Something my great-grandmother said is a woman should not have to step back in order for a man to lead. Something my grandmother said is don't let what a man brings to the table be the only morsel of food you have to put in your mouth. Something my mother said, marriage offers no guarantees. Don't throw yourself away for him. Always work on you. You gotta love a person enough to be willing to let them be them. Let them grow. Let them spread their wings. Let them fly. But you cannot think that you're the only bird in the nest who needs to fly. It's like telling her, I know you got wings and I know you want to use them, but it don't really matter that you have them. Just stay here in the nest. I'll tell you what it's like out there. Just worry about what I bring back. And that's not fair. That's not fair to her as a woman. It's not fair to her as a person. It's not fair to whatever her purpose is, whatever her drive and her passion is. It's just not, it ain't fair. It is very self-absorbed to think your mission is so great that whatever is in her does not matter. That whatever that is, that's gnawing and screaming and needing to be nurtured and cultivated and developed in her, that it's not as important as you. And it's not fair. The whole expectation that this woman should just throw away her desire to be anything more than a wife and a mother because she got a husband that brings home a check is low-key cavemanish. The same way Marsau wants to live life and you don't want to be confined to just taking care of kids all the time. Why do you think this woman want that? Come on, Marsau. And Tisha is absolutely right. If something happens to Marsau, she needs to be in a position to take care of herself and her children. Things happen, men leave, anything could happen. You know, I have seen stranger things happen. I'm trying to tell you. I've seen more marriages break up after 3 and 4 decades. And I believe Miss Wanda raised her as a single mom. It only makes sense for her to be equipped to take care of herself and her children. Like, stuff like that, in my mind, this is a way for this man to keep you limited and keep you confined to him. That's all I got to say about that. So anyway, they talk about the Brown Girl event, how proud he is of Tisha for putting that event on. And then they talk about her encounter with Mel. You know, that Mel said she wants to move forward. Tisha's kind of skeptical. Destiny suggested a girls trip. Marsau is like, do you trust Mel? Basically, before you go up there, she start telling you anything. In regard to resolving things with Mel, Marsau tells her she should redirect that energy into their family and how this date was a great start. Boy, I got to not be who I want to be and plan the dates too? No. No. Moving on. Mel and Martel exchanging the kids. Mel and Martel meet in the parking lot to exchange their children. I never thought I'd hear me say this, but Martel made all the sense. This gave a lot of credence to a lot of Martel's arguments. I'ma just say that. So let's go through this blow by blow. So Mel pulls up with the kids. The kids jump out all excited to see their dad. And she starts explaining how she was already annoyed when she went to meet with him because of the conversation that she had with his mom. There's some obvious tension between them, which is also to be expected. So after, you know, they get them from one vehicle to the next, Martel asked to talk to her. And he asked to talk to her, you know, to make sure that they're okay. And she goes, no. And he says, well, you know, I guess because you want to be in Atlanta. And she says, basically, well, I would prefer to not be in Huntsville. And he makes his case for, you know, he doesn't want his children going back and forth state to state. That they're already going through a lot with their family breaking up. And that a relocation and dragging them back and forth would just is not what he wants for his kids. And I am so sorry. I 100% agree with Martel. I am just like, that makes sense. It just makes sense. So Mel tries to justify her desire to relocate with, well, the kids love Atlanta. And so Martel really sounds like a mature adult, like a parent. And he says, you know, well, of course they do. It's pretty much like a vacation. They're in the pool, they're, you know, kicking it, they with their uncle all the time. Of course. Of course they love it. And so Martel follows that up by explaining that their oldest daughter often tells him the reason she prefers to stay with their mom is because she doesn't make them do as much. They don't have as many chores. So Mel sees that as an issue with Martel's parenting, I guess. Her thing is, well, yeah, no, they don't have to do as many chores because I hold it together. And starts to berate him as a parent for teaching his children structure and responsibility by way of having them do chores. So this, of course, segues into the custody conversation. Mel starts going into, you know, I know you're telling everybody you're seeking full custody. And he's saying, well, yeah, I already sent that request to the attorney. And she starts to say, well, basically, you're going to have to prove that I'm unfit. And Martel goes into explaining that he never, and this offered clarification for me, because he was saying by seeking full custody, he was never setting out to say that she was unfit. What he was setting out to do was keep his children in one place. So if you want to go to Atlanta, if that's what you want to do, you can do that, but I prefer to keep the children here in one place. I get that. Do they need to figure that out between them through some sort of a mediation rather than just threatening each other with full custody? Yeah. But I get what Martel is saying. Like, I agree with Martel. I don't even know. I'm the type of person, I don't stand anybody. And so if you're right, you're right. And if you're wrong, let's get you together. But Martel is right. Sis starts to say, you seeking custody and wanting the kids near you was about you because it makes you feel better emotionally. Because you're emotionally empty inside. Like Martel said, those are his kids. What are you talking about? Like, you sound like a spiteful, bitter baby mother. You sound like what? I'm trying to figure out what makes a person think, because I'm angry at you and what you did to me, I can now just take your children and do whatever I want to because I'm feeling vindictive. And if you express a desire to have any closeness in proximity or relationship to your children, then it's something wrong with you. How you gonna make that a problem? It's something wrong with... I know what you're trying to do, but you're failing. Mel has been rocking on the Martel ain't-ish train so long that she doesn't stop looking to see where the train is going. You can be angry and you can be hurt and you can be a whole lot of things, but don't be bitter. Don't let it make you bitter, because when you're bitter, you start to do stuff like this. This time, sis, you all the way wrong. All the way wrong. All the way wrong. They made you feel better. Like, what? Those his kids. So when she tells him that he's unfulfilled and there are a lot of things that will never fulfill him, you know, he says, well, my children fulfill me. And she goes on to say, well, speaking of, your mama told me you got a boy on the way. Congratulations. And she walks off. Martel says something along the lines of, so you're going to say something smart and run off like a kid. So she says, you know what, bye, Martel, go on about your business, take care of your kids, see you in a week, a whole bunch of stuff. And he walks off, gets in the car. Thank God, moving on. Kimmy, Maurice, and Jaylin are meeting to discuss Jaylin's future again. Lord, like, please leave the young man alone. It is totally okay to not know what you want to do at 21, because what you want to do at 21 and what you want to do at 31 and most likely ain't the same anyway. Leave this child alone. Like, oh my God, let him experience some things. Let him live a little while. Let him, you know, it ain't like he's a deadbeat. The guy did just graduate from college. He's working. He has some goals and some general direction. Like, give it a minute. Like, I don't even want to go into this whole conversation. Like, the one thing that Maurice did say that I'm really glad he said was that this is coming from a place of his own inadequacy, because he feels like he helps all these people and he can help all these people, but he's not able to help his son. And leave him alone. Leave him alone and let him figure it out. And when he needs your help, you have made it abundantly clear that you are there. So let him figure it out and let him come to you when he's ready. Moving on. The girls' trip. They out somewhere in the country. Destiny has a house of some kind. Mel shows up. Kimmy shows up. They kick it together and drink for a while. Tisha's running late. Well, Tisha finally shows up and she thinks there's a weird vibe because everybody else was already having fun. I'm going to tell you, I think Tisha deals with a level of social anxiety, especially if she feels like she doesn't fit in or isn't readily accepted. And so part of that whole there's a weird vibe, I believe, stems from her expectation for there to be a weird vibe. There is also a part of it that you might have felt some weird energy, but I don't think it was from the whole group. But come to think of it, they do all have their own issues with Tisha, so I don't know. I don't know. Destiny decides she wants to get straight into some activities, some games they can play, you know, to break the ice and, you know, have some fun and kind of come together a little bit. Tisha, you know, she showed up really cute in a dress, a little bodysuit underneath. I thought she was really cute. And she basically said she wants to go change and put on some pants because they're about to play Twister. And Mel got a problem with her going to change. Like, girl, this whole episode just was not it for Mel. It just was not it, okay? Mel, because the girl don't want to bunk up with a dress on? Like, come on now. So they're playing Twister. They're having fun. They move on to their next activity. They introduce Iama. Let me tell you something. I got my whole side eye on Iama, okay? Iama is something. I'ma say it, and I'ma say I said it. Something about Iama ain't right. Something about Iama don't sit right with me. Don't sit well in my spirit. Ain't sat well from the moment she came on the screen. Something about Iama ain't right. Her and this whole bootleg Iyanla act is just, ain't doing it for me. I ain't feeling it. I see you, sis. I see you. Let me tell you my other problem. Iama is a friend of Mel's, which means Iama is biased or partial to Mel. Destiny met Iama through Mel. Destiny is friends with Mel. So this is set up on a bias. And it's set up to be received on a bias. You didn't even set it up on balanced ground for the other side of it to feel like I wouldn't have felt like why I want to talk to your friend who but she's a shaman. Girl, bye. I think if you were going to bring a third party in for mediation, it should have been a neutral third party. Something about Iama. Something about Iama ain't right. Mark my words. And let me tell you something. They know something ain't right about Iama. That's why Kimmy and Tisha in the confessional said, well, she's a what now? She said, what? What she do? How this work? I don't understand. And it ain't because of her particular spiritual practice, because I'm not religious. But I believe in personal custom relationships with God, okay? So it ain't got nothing to do with how she practices or nothing. It's just something about her ain't right. Something about that energy ain't right. I said it. Oh, she asked them to all cop a squad. Then she asks everyone what are their intentions. Destiny says her intentions are to bring the group together and to squash some of the contention that exists between the ladies. Kimmy says that her intention is to identify her own part in things, especially as it pertains to this group. Mel says that her intention is to remove distrust and replace it with trust in the relationships with these ladies. And Tisha says that her intention is to move forward in whatever direction the universe sees fit for them. After they state their intentions, Iama decides to do an activity about parental pathologies and have them identify certain actions or behaviors and things their parents did and how those things affected them. And it came across like a very, very genuine moment. Mel talks about both of her parents being hard workers, which is why she works. Kimmy kind of owns some of her shortcomings and things that work against her in relationships. Tisha discusses how she didn't hear that she was loved from her mom as a little girl. You know, she saw the affection and things between other families, and she went home and told her mom how she had never gotten that. And her mom, you know, they realized it was kind of generational. Her mom had never gotten that. And then they do this card exercise where they give each other a word on a card. This whole bootleg episode of Iyanla, like, girl, Destiny gives Mel a card that says protected, because apparently Mel does a lot of standing up for Destiny. Mel gives Tisha a card that says misunderstood, and says that she gave her that card because their friendship fell apart based on a misunderstanding. Basically, Mel had fallen back. She had pulled back from the friendship. Tisha didn't really understand why. So Iama asked Tisha how she felt about Mel's explanation. And Tisha said she felt like it was BS. Now, could Tisha have chosen her words better? Yes. The way that Tisha ended up communicating and breaking herself down, I was really impressed. I was like, damn, Tisha. Like, where does Tisha been? After Mel explains what she thought was the fallout in their relationship, Tisha explains that that wasn't the fallout, in her opinion, in their relationship. She basically explains that she disagrees with Mel as to where the relationship started to break down. For her, the breakdown wasn't necessarily the unavailability. That was, I guess, maybe more the beginning of an issue. She's saying for her, it came when the attacks started to happen. And in my opinion, on that first season, Mel did to Tisha exactly what Martel tried to do to Marsau. It was, my husband is cheating and my stuff is exposed, so I want to expose yours. It was this whole thing of, well, your husband is cheating too. Your husband is cheating. Your husband. Baby, sweep around your own door. That's what the old folks say. Sweep around your own door. Don't worry about sweeping somebody else's porch before you sweep your own. Okay? They did attack each other. There were, you know, Tisha is kind of how we all found out about the side chick, you know. But she's saying basically that for her, the fallout really happened when you started to insist that my husband cheated. And not only did my husband cheat, it was my husband's fault that your husband cheated. That's where the issue lied for Tisha. And I see both of their points. I see where both of them are coming from. I I totally get what Mel is saying. That does look like the beginning of the issue. I also get what Tisha is saying, but she basically said it was when you said it was my husband's fault that your husband cheated. Then that's when we really had a problem. You know, so Tisha explains that she also has an issue with certain lies Mel has told. And she kind of broaches it, but she doesn't want to say it. So Mel goes into, what have I lied about, you know? And Tisha's like, look, if you ain't gonna say it, I ain't gonna play it. We ain't gonna deal with this. It's just what it is. And so Mel starts going into how, you know, I've never lied about anything. I don't have to lie. I never will lie. In my opinion, Mel went into full-on attack mode. And I was highly impressed at Tisha's composure. Tisha kept it together. She communicated her feelings of how she feels like, at this point, I'm ready to go. Because there's nothing here for me. When this person is not willing to acknowledge their part for real in a thing, and I have to deal with their ego in order to move forward, then there's ain't nothing here. Tisha typically works my nerves, but I am with Tisha. Mel is literally acting like a kid. Will she please tell me what I've done that's unfair? So Tisha's like, look, when you're ready to be honest, and then she goes in this whole fit she starts having. And, ooh, Tisha was like a sniper, just calling it out left and right. Yeah, that's attention seeking right there. Loaded with a little deflection. Yeah, Tisha wasn't here for it. Tisha wasn't here for it. And let's tell the truth. Mel did put a rumor out there that Marsau was cheating with her hairdresser. Mel's hairdresser, whose name I think is Iyanla, Tisha and Marsau went live together to squash this rumor. So she did definitely put that out there. And the fact is, she is refusing to own it. So Tisha finally turns up like, look, just talk about what you put out there about my husband. And so Mel plays this roundabout game of, okay, sure, let's talk about it. But now she doesn't want to say what she said. And, you know, she's making this scene and she's playing this game. Mel, the gig is up. Tisha done pulled your card. They talk about her trying to destroy the marriage and the whole time they going back and forth. Where is Iyanla? Where is Iyanla? But sitting there looking, what? Oh, ring the bell, girl. And then here Mel go again with this age-old foolishness of, I know what's going on in my life, and obviously I know more about what's going on in yours than you do. Mel, please worry about yourself. Please focus on yourself, because you didn't know what was going on in your life when it was going on. So Mel always thinks she knows so much about what's going on with somebody else or what the other person need to do, while your life is a whole mess. It's a well-dressed mess. You a well-dressed mess. And got the nerve. I know more. Like, girl, know more about your marriage than other people do. Because you so worried about knowing more about Tisha's marriage and keep on finding out stuff about your own. Like, girl, please have, you don't even have to have all the seats. Just 8, just 1. Find a seat. Sit down. Think about it. Sit down and think for a while. Girl, she got on my nerves. So Mel stomps off and leaves. Iama goes chasing behind her, but are you going to leave? Yeah, I'm leaving. And then Destiny starts to give this speech to Tisha. While Destiny is right, Destiny, you a day late and a dollar short. You needed to step in and you needed to say that to the both of them. Suggestion. You got these suggestions for everybody else. Have a suggestion for your friend. It's starting to give me the vibe that Destiny might be going through something. She might be lonely and not have a whole lot of friends. Mel is the only semi-friend she has. And so you don't want to upset her. So you're going to tell Tisha, but you won't tell. No, you need to tell Mel that. So Mel stomps off into the night with Lil Iyanla following her. And so that's where the episode ends. Yeah, this episode was a lot for me. This was, it was a really, I thought it was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. Mel and Martel getting ready to tear up the patio next week. Child, it's a lot. So that's it. That's all. I ain't got no more. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming by. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back and see me again. See you next time. Bye.